Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Big Blue Drew 97 here, coming at you with another spoiler video for My Hero Academia manga chapter 287, and apparently the title of this chapter is going to be Mistake. Yeah, no. When it comes to this chapter, yeah, that title makes a whole lot of sense, especially with also the spoilers that we got. Now, yeah, most likely, what this mistake is involving All For One and him being a duplicitous Ash. So yeah, today we're going to be going over the spoilers that have just come out for My Hero Academia manga chapter 287, and frankly, from just these spoilers alone, I'm completely hyped up for this chapter, man, because a lot of what we're going to mostly get in this chapter is going to be interactions between Nana Shimura, Deku, All For One, Shigaraki, and a surprise guest appearance by the original user of One For All For One's little brother. Oh my god, so shocking. Wow, so amazing. So yeah, let's get right into the spoilers. But before we actually do that, I'd like to ask y'all to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Big Blue Drew 97. Leave a comment down below talking about what you think is going to be going on in this chapter, and what do you think is going to be the main focus of this chapter, as well as leave a like on this video. And with that out the way, let's get right into these spoilers. So, the first spoiler panel that we have is of Nana Shimura. There isn't really anything special about this. Most likely this is going to be continuing from what we saw last chapter. She's probably going to be giving a lot of exposition, and pretty much for like the next few panels, most likely what's going to be happening is that there's going to be a lot of exposition of what is happening in this world and what they're going to do against All For One. So you have appearance of Nana Shimura looking beautiful and just muscular as ever, but also what we see is most likely All For One taunting Nana Shimura as if you forgot, he's the one that killed her. So we're gonna we see this interaction between Nana Shimura and All For One, and we see All For One is smiling and Nana is just being serious, which is amazing because she's able to keep her composure even though she's like the leftover flames in the quirk of One For All, but she's still being composed even when confronted with the person that murdered her. So it just shows like the difference in their character and like how they view the situation. One is more like, yeah, everything's gonna be great, which would be All For One, and then Nana Shimura is more serious, and that's what we see from this panel. As well as in the next panel, we see, weirdly enough, how All For One is kind of clinging on to Shigaraki, as we see these black little things like take over All For One, as he's also saying some stuff to most likely Deku and Nana Shimura, which really gets under Shigaraki's skin in one of these panels. And from what I've gathered from some translations that I had some help with from people in a Discord that I'm in, basically what he's most likely saying is that he is taunting Deku in this scene and calling out that him giving the power to his brother and Deku having One For All is a mistake, hence tying into the title of this chapter. And this will continue on into the next panel, where we see that All For One is like somehow just destroying this world of the vestige, sending out like most likely a powerful wave that luckily enough Nana Shimura is blocking. So this could be interpreted as All For One trying to take One For All away from Deku, and having Nana Shimura being the shield to prevent that. And like I said, most likely what he's saying is that he's taunting Deku and Nana Shimura and saying that they're mistakes to have this quirk. And then we get a close-up panel of All For One, where most likely he is declaring this mistake of All For One, of One For All existing and being given to his brother, where we immediately see his brother come in, also helping out Nana Shimura, protecting Deku and most likely the quirk One For All, as well as he another thing that I got from the translations from the Discord that I'm a part of is that most likely what the little brother is saying is like, to sum up what he's basically saying to his brother is like, it's not a mistake that this child has this quirk. You would never understand someone like him. He's the embodiment of like wanting to save people you will never understand. It's not a mistake that he has this quirk. That's basically the gist of what the little brother is saying in this panel and the next panel after that. And from here, we get one all for one reaching out, most likely trying to attempt to take one for all, as we get this big double page spread of the little brother talking down to the big brother, as we see that Deku is also launching out, most likely indicating that they're going to a clash with each other. And depending on the result of that clash, either all one for all will be taken away from Deku, or Deku would be able to retain one for all. And from what we see immediately after that, we get this big explosion in the air, indicating that whatever happened in this vestige world had an actual effect on the real world, which we've actually seen when Deku first went into this vestige world, where he met the original users and the other users of One for All. And we see that most likely it does a physical damage on the outside, as it sends both Deku and Shigaraki flying in different directions. So, this is kind of like the way that Horikoshi is probably using it as a way to get these two apart so that they can eventually come back later on in the story and clash once again. So from this page, this is probably going to be the end of the fight between Shigaraki and the heroes, and Deku with Shigaraki for the time being. And this is most likely confirmed from like the dialogue that we see between, or the dialogue that we see of Shigaraki and Deku. I'm not 100% sure what this is saying, but most likely they're both about to fall unconscious, as we see like their facial expressions aren't twisted anymore. Deku isn't showing as much rage as he was showing, and we see that Shigaraki is more like melancholy. He isn't like filled with energy, so most likely he has reached his limit. So most likely they won't be able to like really move after this. So this may be like the turning point where this war is coming to the end. And speaking of the end, we're coming down to the final few panels. These few panels are most likely going to be at the end of the chapter, but this is something that I really wouldn't have expected from this chapter, because we get to see Toga and Compress, and most likely they're talking to each other, most likely about like what happened with Twice and all the destruction that's going around. And from the looks of it, they still kind of looks like they're on Gigantomachia, or that they're on the ground near where Shigaraki is. And we get to see a close-up of Dabi, and we also get a close-up of Toga, and with this serious face on her face, most likely she is still broken up by the fact that Twice is dead, and she's probably going to get in a fight with a particular individual. And who might that particular individual be? Well, we get most likely what's going to be the final panel of this chapter, which is a close-up of Uraraka, most likely thinking about the situation. So from what we get in these last few panels, it's most likely that either this chapter is going to have a confrontation between Ochako and Toga, or most likely what this chapter at the end of it is building up for a confrontation between Toga and Ochako, or that Toga and Ochako will play a more vital part in the next chapter, manga chapter 288. And luckily enough, from what we have with the translations, we aren't going to be on break, so I'll be able to get my review out for 287 as well as 288, most likely on Saturday. So that's all the spoilers that have come out at this moment. There may be more spoilers. We didn't get a summary this time because unfortunately someone who does the summaries will no longer be doing it anymore. So, sad day for me. But a general idea of what's going to happen is what I kind of predicted in the last video, is that we're going to get interactions between the users of One for All and the All for One users. We're going to get interactions between Shigaraki and Deku, interactions between Nanashimura and All for One, as well as just the interactions between the All for One older brother and One for All younger brother, and how they have conflicting ideals and how those ideas clash. And basically what this chapter is building up that Deku and Shigaraki are going to be proper villain and antagonist, protagonist and antagonist, that they're going to have reasons not to like each other in comparison to what they were before. It was just like random individuals that had no real reason to fight. The fact of the matter is that when they first met each other, Shigaraki didn't even like really want to kill Deku. He just wanted to understand Deku, and Deku was like, "Oh yeah, you tried to kill us." So they didn't really have a connection there, but now they have a real connection through All for One and One for All, meaning that the next time that we see them fight, there's going to be more emotional stakes in it than there was in this fight between them. As well as we're most likely going to see Ochako and Uraraka, and how their relationship is most likely going to be built up more when it comes to most likely that they're going to clash. If not, we're just going to get a better understanding of what's going on the back of Gigantomachia in this chapter, as well as in the next chapter. So, overall, that's all the spoilers that we have. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll leave a like on this video if you really like this video. Hopefully you can discuss in the comments and speculate on what this chapter is actually going to be about. Hey, maybe these spoilers are fake. Maybe I don't actually know what's going to happen in this chapter, but you can talk about it in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of that cool jazz, and I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye for now.